I'll never forget, and you guys will remember this that are old enough, rope-a-dope. My dad came home. He had gone to, I guess, a bar or wherever to watch, came home. I go, Dad, who won? He goes, oh, you're not going to believe this. Muhammad Ali sat on the ropes against the hardest puncher ever, Foreman, took blows. Then when Foreman got tired, he beat the hell out of him. So I'm like, Dad, who won? Because I was like 10. He goes, Ali won, dummy. I go, oh, yeah, okay. But in my world, Muhammad Ali never, ever duplicated. This next one, like people are going to say Tom Brady's the GOAT. And he probably is. I mean, I'm not going to argue whether Tom Brady's the GOAT, not the GOAT. I'm not arguing any of it. But the truth of the matter is the best football player I've ever seen is Walter Payton of the Chicago Bears. Sweetness, look him up. I've never seen anybody do things on the football field that Walter Payton did. Walter Payton high-stepped way before Deion Sanders high-stepped. There's an unbelievable video of Walter Payton jumping over the line to score a touchdown, and he comes and he hits his head, and his head's like a shock absorber and then bounces up. It's the damnedest thing you're ever going to see. Walter Payton blocked with a ferocity. Walter Payton had style. Walter Payton was cool. Walter Payton was fast. Walter Payton would put his head down, knock guys over. Older guys than me may say Jim Brown. Younger guys than me may say Barry Sanders. But my football GOAT, I've never seen anybody across the board play football better than Walter Payton. You want Wally P to block? Wally P gonna give you something. You want him to catch a pass? Wally P gonna catch it. One thing Walter Payton always did, and so of course growing up, we always did this, he always, when he got tackled, extended the ball. Why are you trying to do that? Trying to get extra yards. Walter Payton was a bad man. Walter Payton, best I ever saw. I'd be curious. We're on Twitter. We're at Outkick. I'd be curious. Who's the best you ever saw? I got 3 or 4 more to go, but I am curious. Like, if I'm saying Walter Payton and you're saying a running back, does it immediately go to Barry Sanders? Does it immediately go to Joe Montana if you're not going to take Tom Brady? Does it immediately go somewhere automatic? Same thing with boxing. I think boxing's a little different, don't you? I think boxing's one of those things where you go, you know what? Let's be honest. When you think of boxing, you think of Ali. Period. All right, next GOAT. Look, if I were old enough to see Wilt Chamberlain, I'd say Wilt Chamberlain. I would. I'd say Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, you look at the numbers, they're insane. I wasn't old enough to see him. I can only go by who I see. But who I've seen, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player. I would put Kareem in there too. I should. I did. I wish I did. Because those two I've always said, with a caveat. I'm starting to think by the time we're done here, I'm starting to think that it's going to be, freaking LeBron James. I am. And I know you're starting to think that too. I know you are. I know that people are starting to think, hey, look, this might be LeBron James. He's starting to put up numbers that are stupid. He's starting to put up idiotic numbers. He's starting to put up the kind of numbers that you go, wait a second, hold the phone. I don't know that you can make a case other than numbers-wise, Kareem or Wilt. I don't know that you can make a case for anybody but LeBron James. It's starting to get to that point, and I don't like it. I don't. Because when you are of an era, you want that era to be the best. You want that guy to be the best. A lot of people on the YouTube chat are saying MJ. A guy asked me, hey, Dan, are you going to put out Olympic gambling picks? No, I'm not yeah. Sean Black, I'm on it. I'm on it, Sean Black. All right, next. Tom Brady. Dan, you already said Walter Payton, greatest of all time. I did. Football player. Tom Brady's best quarterback / best personality, football personality I've ever seen. like Tom Brady's made missteps. And this was interesting. 4 or 5 years ago, Tom Brady was a villain. Tom Brady had to smash his cell phone. Tom Brady had a hide. Tom Brady took a 4-game suspension. Tom Brady was the guy that people said, hey, wait a second here. He cheats. He's a cheater. Nobody smashes their cell phone unless they're a cheat. Let me explain something to you. Let me explain this very clearly, okay? If a non-law enforcement entity wants my cell phone to incriminate me, one, I ain't giving it up. Now, I don't have any nudes on there. Like, I'm not that guy. I've never been porn guy. I've never been, hey. No, never. I'm not, and that's not the reason. I just don't want people going through my stuff. And on a phone, don't we all have financial stuff? Don't we have all kind of stuff? So anyway, Brady smashing his phone to me didn't really help him. He still got a 4-game suspension. People forget about that. But has anybody made a better comeback, a bigger comeback in terms of public persona than Tom Brady? I tell you one guy who has, guy coming up, Pat McAfee. Pat had a problem as a rookie. I never heard anybody handle it better. And now Pat is a freaking beloved human being all across the country and maybe internationally. He's made a hell of a comeback. But Brady made a hell of a comeback. People forget Brady was vilified, man. Brady was the freaking worst. Brady, she should go to jail. He should be kicked out of football. Deflategate, blah, 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 blah. Now the dude gets hammered on a boat flipping around the Lombardi Trophy, and everybody's like, this guy's the greatest. Winning cures. Winning cures, baby Bubba. It simply does. It does. I don't know what to tell you, but he won in Tampa. He threw to Lombardi. People, of course, wanted to lose their effing minds. Stop. And last one's Jennifer Anniston. I want you to go to my wife's Twitter page. My wife's Twitter page, Lee Ross. Jennifer Anniston, to me, is the GOAT of actresses. I went through this. I love Julia Roberts. Love her. I will watch, and I don't know half people's names, but I know them when I see them. Love Julia Roberts. All right? Love her. Not really big. I was on Courtney Cox, and then she had a show from Florida. Yeah. But when I think about actresses or actors, I think about whose movie would I watch. Like, I'll watch Denzel. I'll watch Leonardo DiCaprio. But I'll watch Clooney. Pitt, I'm on the bubble on. Whoever the young dude that was in Sons of Anarchy, I don't know his name, but I'll take him. He's great. There's a number of males that I will watch their movies, fair or unfair. I'll watch Mike Epps. I love Mike Epps. There are some dudes that make me laugh. Chris Tucker, I laugh. I think it's Chris Tucker. Ice Cube, I laugh. Ice Cube's in a movie, serious or funny, I'm watching. There's not that many women. I hate to say this, but in my world, there's not. I love Julia Roberts' laugh. Every guy my age would run through a mile of glass just to say hello to Halle Berry. I mean, make no mistake. But Jennifer Aniston, to me, is the GOAT.